And this really is a good afternoon, right, Jane? It's a great afternoon. Over the last several days, I've looked for one word that would describe pep. And the word that I came up with was charisma. If you go to the dictionary and you look up charisma, it says a personal magic of leadership arousing special popular loyalty or enthusiasm for a public figure. It's the best definition of ever. He had big-time aspirations in small-town humility. He was Americana. Norman Rockwell in a coach's uniform. He was Indiana. He was IU. He was a Hoosier. Terry was never intimidated, but often in awe of how fortunate he was to live the life he loved. We spent a lot of time and had a lot of conversations, and his most endearing characteristics were the way that his boyhood spirit never faltered. He'd come back from a Big Ten meeting, and he'd say, "You know what I did today?" He said, "I spent the day with Joe Paterno." Is that cool or is that cool? A couple weeks later, he'd say, "Hey, Rick, how about this?" He said, "I'm going to go to a party at John Mellencamp's house, R-O-C-K in the USA, baby. How about that?" Or the story that he wore me out with probably 10 times. "Rick, did I ever tell you about the day I spent with Bear Bryant down in Tuscaloosa? When I sat in the office and we walked out through the tunnel, and every time he told it, it was the first time to me." Several years ago, we were going to the Rose Bowl together, just before he got sick. And I remember him saying, "Here's where I want to go. I want to go to the Rose Bowl because pretty soon we're going to be there as a team. And I don't want any of these guys looking at me and thinking, hey, he's never been there before." He coached, he cheered, he motivated, he inspired, he encouraged, he led the band, he talked the talk, and he walked the walk. Terry Heckler made corny cool. He instilled in all of us boyhood memories of college football at its finest. A man that loved the school, and a school that loved him back. I'll tell you one more story. Some of you have heard this. Some of you haven't. Several years ago in December, when we were looking for a coach, I called my good friend Brad Bates, who's over at Miami, and asked him about him. I said, "I'd like to visit with him." And so Terry and I had a couple conversations on the phone, and I said, "Why don't we meet someplace?" And Terry, who knows Indiana probably as well as any, said, "I've got a great place to meet. It'll be about halfway, it'll be easy to get to." It was in Franklin. And I believe it was a Tuesday, about the second week of December. And I had been in Indiana 3 months or so. He gave me directions, and I got my car, and the way we do anymore, with a soft drink in one hand, a cell phone in the other, a map, all kinds of things. And I got on some goat path of a road. It took me over there. Well, I had talked to Terry now several times, but I had never met him, but certainly would recognize his face. And so A couple hours later, on this Tuesday in December at 2 p.m., I pull into this motel parking lot. And as I pull in, Terry pulls in at about the same time. And we shook hands, and we walked in to the motel registration desk together. Without luggage. We were greeted by a 19-year-old clerk who took my name and asked how many keys we needed. Just one, I said. Well, sir, checkout's at 10 a.m. I responded, that's okay. We just need the room for the afternoon. Well, we walked up and outside set of stairs to a meeting room. This meeting room had a prior life, I'm not sure what, but what was left was a folding table and 2 chairs. And we met and we sat and we talked for 4 hours about what we thought and hoped and believed could be the vision for Indiana football. And while we did that, we drank Diet Cokes. And Terry and I are about the same age, and so collectively we realized that after 4 hours of drinking Diet Cokes, it might be appropriate to use the restroom. We walked around the corner, and the restroom had a sink and a bathtub. No toilet. In this room, room 221. So I called down to the front desk, and the same 19-year-old clerk said, yes, I forgot to tell you, that room doesn't have a toilet, but if you come back down to the front desk, I can give you a key for the room next to it that does. Which we did. We left our separate ways that afternoon, but his impact on me was the same that I believe it's been on you. Wow, what a person. That was my first day with Heaven, and I'll cherish the memory forever. In the end, an insidious disease damaged his brain and eventually spread to other parts of his body. But how poetically just that his heart just kept on ticking with the strength of a bull until the clock hit 0 and he was out of timeouts. He will be missed, but remembered so fondly for making us all dream with our eyes wide open. Thanks, Coach. Don't forget to stay in touch.